Good morning, YouTube. I want to take a little time today to explain to you why it's difficult to calculate returns on investment in real estate from a capital standpoint and to compare to things like stocks. And so let's just get right into this. Don't be too scared of the numbers because I'll explain kind of what I'm going through here. And so if you look at here, in 2011 I bought a house. Now, we won't get obsessed over the value of the house yet, but I bought it for $55,000, and the next year it was worth about $85,000, and that's an estimate because I can go back in the records to 2015. It was worth $107,300, and so this is the progression of the house value over a period of time. And as you can see, I bought it below market value, which indicates this initial bump right here, 54% increase in the first year. And over here, the fifth house that I did, I bought at this, and you see a 46% increase over the first year. Now, I may have just bought it in a forward momentum market at maybe 15% or some percent below market, not a lot, just some. Based on some fix-up work it needed and some things like that that other people didn't want to do. But the difficult thing about calculating returns in real estate is if you look at this first house, I bought this 55 with $35,000 in stocks. I think it was Walmart stock, which has done pretty well after that, and also $20,000 in debt. Okay, so you got $35,000 in cash, $20,000 in debt. You buy the house at $55,000. At the time of purchase, within a year, it's worth $85,000. That's kind of been known that that's going to happen based on what happened in the market. And so I tracked that out and pushed this equity until about 2014. It's increased some. I don't have a loan directly against it. It's a private loan, the 20 is. And so at 100, I financed it out for, let's say, 80. I used that money to buy the second house. Now, here's the difficult thing about calculating returns. With stocks, you can't do that. You can do it 50%, but even then you can get margin called because of, they're perceived as more risky. And so if you look at this $78,000 house, what do I have in the house right now? Well, I have 35 minus whatever returns I've gotten from rents minus expenses to carry the loan and those type of things in the last 5 years. So let's just leave it at the initial 35, and we'll say that's the capital investment in stocks from comparison, and the payout is more like the dividend. So you have 35, and now you have this house going up in value. There's a mortgage involved now, so that's against the rent. So you're not getting as much rent as you were here, possibly, but rents go up also. And so now you have a second house, which you have the bump the first year because we bought below market value. And you have the increase in value of that each year as it goes up. And that value as a percent of F of the year before. So this is the year-over-year gain in the value. Now you see, these are 1.5, 13, 22, reasonable, but the first bump really gets you going, and the fact that you just have 35, you didn't actually put any money into this, means that if you look at this right here as an investment, as one investment that carries its own debt, it has some but not a lot, then you look at year-over-year gains in the range compared to your investment of these numbers. So you get down here to year number 2021, and you say, I still have 35. Let's say that the payout wasn't there. It was just a break even. You're not putting more money in. You made 187% of your money in that 1 year, 191%. And if you look across at the numbers, it went from 174 to 214. 174 to 214, right? Or 155 to 181. Now, that is a big increase, but not astronomical for housing in the year like when COVID hits or something. So your net gain, if you look at this, is you add all of these up, and that is your capital increase of $426,000 based on your current investment in that of $35,000, and that is if your rental house makes no cash flow and no profit. Basically, nothing's coming out to you. Now, back when interest rates were very low, there was a lot coming out in this, and so you probably got your money out. I probably got money out in about 4 or 5 years. So by here, I probably had my money out. Probably was paying me about $7,000 a year. Nowadays, a property in this kind of situation will probably have a negative cash flow, a positive profit. And so when you look at the total investment, your total investment in a property nowadays is not going down. It's most likely going up year over year, at least for a little bit. So you'll see investment going up until your rents catch up with your cash flow, and then the investment will start going back down. So if you look at the net amount invested in a property today, if you would buy a property for, let's say, $230, and you carry it for 3 years on a negative cash flow of $1,000 a month, then you have your initial $230, and you have your fix-up of $8,000, and let's say your negative cash flow is $1,000 a month, just for easy math, then that's an additional $30,000, $36,000 that's going to be, and so your capital investment in that is going to be $274,000. Now, can that still make sense? It can, but really you want this price that you buy for here, the $230, to also incorporate these two numbers in there. So if your house is net worth $274, then you could probably do this situation and figure, okay, my 3-year investment on this house is $274, and it's going to make profit, and by that point the cash flow will have turned around and it will make sense. And so right now in the market, when you're going to buy things, essentially you're looking at this first bump. You're not getting this bump, right? You're not getting the bump here. You're still going to get the refi, and you're not getting the bump here, but you're still going to get the refi. And so your returns will be like this, most likely over time. But you need to figure on the first 3 or 4 years your investment in the property actually increasing rather than decreasing, and making sure that you can carry that cash flow. And so this is kind of the reason that you have to actually be in single family real estate to see what's happening, and you have to pay attention to the money that you have, right? So this is the same 35 one from here, right, to here. Now at a certain point I would probably finance this house. If I had, let's say I had a house with $230 and I carry negative cash flow for 3 years, I'm probably not going to be able to finance that for 3 years, because if you look back at these numbers, 1, 2, 3, 107, I may have, you know, 22,000 in equity plus the cash flow inside, so it wouldn't make much sense. So I would say if this back here was like a 5-year cycle, let's say 2011 to 2014, a 3 or 4 year cycle, maybe having a 6-year cycle for being able to refinance your properties in current conditions would be what it is. So if you're buying, you know, more than one of your properties every 6 months, you have 6 properties, you can probably buy 1 a year and continue to use this method. Whereas before, if you had 6 properties, you could probably buy, you know, 2 a year and continue keeping up with the numbers from this standpoint. And so they'll slow you down a little bit, but not stop you if you've already started. So hope this is valuable to understand what actually happens. These are 2 houses, like I say here, the first house I have, and then the 5th house. And if you go down here and you track this out, I can go look and see what I probably use some of this equity for, and add another house in down at this point that's now moving with the same money. So I hope that helps you. Let me know if you have any questions down below about how this works, and I will talk to you later.